Y'all, today we have some breaking news. Wizard101 just announced free membership for everybody that logs into Wiz from now until December 13th. This is like their 12 days of the Spiral event. They're kicking it off with free membership for everybody. What does this mean? That means whether you pay or not for the next 12 days, you have complete access to everything on Wiz. That includes every single world, every area that's come out of the most recent update. We're also talking member benefits, everything that you get for paying except you don't have to. Now, obviously, this is hype beyond belief by itself, but also I feel like there's a very unique free trial period. And what I mean by that, the most recent update added a ton of things for people to experience both at high level and low level. So today, I wanted to talk about the best way a high level or a low level could use their membership to experience the latest update. Hopefully, this video will be helpful for a lot of returning players. But also, I wanted to talk about how the community has overall reacted to the latest update. I feel like it's been somewhat mixed. So starting right off, if you're a low level, what I would recommend right away, check out the new Cocotopia. This is one of the biggest updates we've ever seen. They did a complete retexture of Cocotopia. I feel like some areas look really awesome. Some of them, I don't know, maybe I'm a little bit here and there. But for the most part, this has been an immaculate retexture. I feel like it really modernizes the world, something that I feel like this world specifically has needed for over a decade. And then right after checking out the new textures, the first thing I'll do with my membership is check out the new blended grove. Now, this is a feature that unlocks after the first arc. And I'll be honest, if you have the time, it's actually very easy to complete the first arc in even a week. And in the blended grove, you can learn how to combine new spells, use new spell fusion. There's all kinds of crazy new utilities that you can do with the secondary school as well. In my opinion, the spell fusion part of this update is easily its biggest selling point. That being said, I do feel like there have been some pros and cons that a lot of people in the community feel around the new weaving system. And weaving is just a fancy word for choosing a secondary school in Wizard101 now. Except in order to fully weave into a secondary school, you have to use this tome and do a bunch of things called labors. And these labors, not only do they come in threes, as in every set of labors you have to do 3 labors, you also have to do it 3 times, and they're also pretty goddamn tedious. You have to defeat like really weak bosses, especially if you're a high level, multiple times, a bunch of minions like several times. And one thing I've been doing is getting an alt account that is in an adventure party with me so I can help them through mainline quests for another labor. It seems like a whole lot of jumping through hoops in order to interact with what is, in my opinion, one of the dopest new features in Wiz. Now, I still highly recommend, getting involved in this system. It is really, really cool, especially if you're not a low level at level 50, but you're a high level. High levels have access to all kinds of new stuff with all of this, like, new spell fusion stuff. You got, like, dual pierce jewels. You got, like, it's absolutely crazy. The spell fusion stuff is really, really cool because it's going to impact the game a lot moving forwards, considering they're rolling it out at the end of Arc 1. This is something that's in the long term, relatively low levels will be spell fusing, I think, and that's going to be really, really cool. I do think it's held back by a couple of things. One, obviously these labors are tedious to rank up. I think that's been everybody's major criticism. Just for some added context, something that I have not mentioned up to this point is that the labors aren't the only thing you have to do to rank up your weaving. You have to like basically interact with these things called icons for your secondary school, and they bring you through a very, very cool and unique quest, something that I will say I personally enjoyed the first time. But once you want to like, change your weaving, or you want to like, you get to your second wizard that you want to weave on, those parts of the quests get really, really tedious as well. There's like quests where you're not even your wizard, where you polymorph into something else. Kind of like the Young Morgan thing that they did in Avalon all those years back. They reapplied it to like every weaving quest. Is it cool? Yes. Is it tedious? Absolutely. After the first time, I got mad tired of it. So that is definitely one part of why I think the whole spell fusion update is being held back a little bit. But the other thing is, for PvE, it seems like very few fusions are very, like, you can apply them. There are some single hit fusion stuff that you can do that actually are very, very helpful even in PvE. But the name of the game in PvE tends to be AoEs. There's no really cool AoEs using spell fusions. Hopefully we'll see that in a future update. New textures and spell fusion stuff that you can see as early as level 50 aside. This update is also very, very unique because it didn't raise the level cap for max level. So if you're like a max level coming back to the game with free membership, this is probably one of those updates where you have more options than usual. I'm a little astonished at how disingenuous some people have been about the lack of a level cap increase being terrible or something. As in, people have been saying it's like super negative and that they have no reason to quest through Selenopolis. I find that argument to be entirely stupid. They bring back a bunch of characters and even have callbacks to characters that have been in the game for over a decade. Like, the plot and the storyline are actually fun. If it's your first time, I highly recommend questing through this world. I think it's very unique in the fact that it is basically just based on Cocotopia, but what they've done with it is actually phenomenal. And beyond that, you're still gonna need to do this in order to do next year's expansion. This is still as big as any expansion, minus all the hurdles of needing to get max level gear. But if getting gear is your thing, the gear that you can get in this update is actually very similar to the gear that you can get from Wallaroo, which is the other level 170 world. And this is kind of a spoiler, but I kind of do want to talk about this in a future video. If y'all know what I'm talking about, let me know if y'all want me to talk about it in the comments. But at the very end of this world, they reveal something that is absolutely major for the future of Wizard101. I think people are straight up hating to hate, because I feel like, unlike the spell fusion and the rank weaving stuff where it's kind of a mixed bag, the PvE aspect of Selenopolis was nothing short of incredible for me to play through, especially for the first time. And while I'm sure releasing updates without increasing the level cap, you know, for their fall or winter update, whatever you want to call it, I'm sure that's not going to be the norm. I actually was surprised at how much I could actually experience the update at my own pace for one. I feel like when the level cap increases, you're like spamming questing and you're doing it day after day and it takes hours and you're like maybe dual boxing with other people. It gets kind of soulless. So I kind of feel like now I can experience this update at my own pace. This might be controversial. I actually enjoyed that they didn't increase the level cap for my own reason. But yeah, y'all, if I had to overall review the latest update, especially for people that want to return and experience it now that we have free membership, I'd say as a high level slam dunk of an update. If you're trying to come back for, like, you know, maybe the nostalgia, you can actually do it as a low level and still experience some new things as well. It's rare that we get an update that gives so many people an option to do some new stuff and even experience old worlds like Cocotopia in a new light. Definitely overall a W update. I highly recommend trying out everything that you can while the game is free. Wizard City is still completely free until I want to say the end of January or something crazy. Is that like a big part of Wiz? No, it's a relatively small world, but this is an overlap, so we might actually see them collecting a lot of data on how effective free trial periods are, maybe this time more than before. So definitely try to play, get your friends to play. Let's show them how successful this type of stuff can be. That's always my message on these, other than just letting people know that there's free membership. Let me know what you guys plan on doing with free membership. Let me know what you guys think of the Selenopolis update. And do y'all want to see me talk about the plot of Selenopolis in a video and break it down? Lots of things to talk about in the comments. Drop a like if you enjoyed. Leave a sub if you're new. And as always, if somebody hasn't told you you're awesome today, they doing something. Stay awesome, y'all. See y'all soon. And yeah.